So the game I'm playing today is called Induction. This is a puzzle game about time-traveling cubes. Yes, you heard that correctly. Now what, pray tell, does that statement entail? Well, in this game, you have to guide a set of cubes through various levels. This is yet another puzzle game that utilizes an isometric perspective. I've noticed that's been a recurring theme with a lot of the puzzle games I've been playing lately. They all use isometric perspectives for some reason. I don't know if that sort of camera angle is just really popular amongst most puzzle game designers. I have no clue, honestly. Now, in order to complete most of the levels in Induction, you have to collect a white cube. Yes, you're a cube that has to collect other cubes in the level, but each level has a white cube that you have to roll towards and collect in order to finish the level. Your cube can very easily roll up ledges as long as they're at least 1 block high. If they're 2 blocks high, well, you can't do anything about that. However, it's not as simple as it sounds because, as I mentioned before, this game is all about time travel and time paradoxes. So during the course of gameplay, it is possible to spawn another cube that repeats the exact same actions you just performed. And while it usually follows the same path that you previously took, it is possible to knock it off course, which can have a variety of different effects. And in some levels, you have to deliberately knock the other cube off course in order to complete them. So in order to beat most of these levels, you have to manipulate time itself. This is essentially another example of single-player co-op. You have to perform very specific actions in one timeline so that you can help yourself out in a different timeline, if that makes any sense, which it probably doesn't. Think of it like this. Remember when I played Cursor 10 about a year ago? Well, this game has a very similar premise to that. You know how in Cursor 10 you had to basically play single-player co-op with yourself by moving a whole bunch of cursors around, and then when the cursors died, it performed the exact same, like it spawned a ghost cursor which performed the exact same actions that it did on that timeline. And all the actions are being performed by you, the player, so the ghost cursors are basically repeating the same actions that you took on that specific life. And in order to solve most of Cursor 10's puzzles, you had to use those multiple ghost cursors acting on different timelines to effectively help yourself out. The game was pretty much impossible to beat unless you did exactly that. Well, Induction has a very similar premise, and I did actually talk about Induction very briefly in my Cursor 10 video, you may recall. I think I mentioned something about the game near the end of that video. I said that I wanted to try and play it at some point in the future, and well, here we are now. So if it makes it easier for you, think of this game like basically having Cursor 10's mechanics, but using Edge's art style instead, the puzzle platformer Edge, which I also played last year. Think of it as essentially being a cross between Cursor 10 and Edge, and I think that'll give you a pretty good idea as to what to expect from Induction. This game has been out for a little while. It came out in February of 2017. The game's 3-year anniversary is actually coming up pretty soon. I think that's going to be coming up on February 7th. It was developed by only one person, that person being Brian Gale, and I believe this is actually his first commercial project if I'm not mistaken, because this game's not free. It cost me like $10 on Steam. This is one of the pricier puzzle games that I'm showing you guys today. The music and sound effects were composed by Tim Scheel. Induction initially entered development all the way back in 2013, so this game was in development for at least 4 years, and I think the amount of development time that was put into this game really begins to show when you get into the later levels, when the game really begins to pull out all the stops on you. This game definitely tries to screw with your brain in a lot of really cool ways. I mean, not really ways that we haven't already seen before, because again, Cursor 10 tried doing something similar to this in the past. But it's still a pretty neat game, man. It's basically Cursor 10, but with way more cubes. And cylinders too. But we'll talk about the cylinders later on. So we are going to begin now, so it does show you a small preview of the level that you are about to play. What I also find interesting about the level previews is that if you've already beaten that level before, it'll show you the exact route you took to finding that puzzle solution. It'll actually play back all the moves you performed the last time you completed that level. So if you don't remember how exactly you solved that puzzle, the game will actually show you how exactly you did it. So it basically records all of the movements that you've made while you're playing the level, and then it plays them back to you once you manage to solve it. Again, why can't more puzzle games have features like that? It is quite disgraceful, honestly. But anyway, let's go to the first level here. So this level doesn't really have much in the way of gimmicks, necessarily. So you can use the arrow keys to roll your cube around, and the WASD keys also work. It can be a little bit confusing with the isometric perspective sometimes, because I've had instances where I thought pressing the right arrow key would actually cause my cube to move upwards just because of the camera angle. I don't know, I feel like this is one of those games that it can cause you to see optical illusions in the least ideal of times. Like if you stare at the level layout for too long, it could potentially cause you to start seeing things that aren't actually there. Or it can like really shift the perspective of the entire level, and it just like messes with your brain. So all we have to do here is just roll up those ledges, and as I mentioned before, you can roll up 1 block tall ledges with ease, just like you can in Edge actually. So we just roll over this white cube, and that's it for that level. So pretty simple stuff. But then we go to the second level right here, and now it's introducing us to cylinders. So what exactly do we do with these cylinders? Well, you'll notice that there's a white outline of a cylinder on the right side of this platform right here. So what we have to do is that we just move the cylinder in place. There's a little platform that will pop up, and it'll allow us to get across and go to the cube and go and collect it. You'll be seeing a lot more of these cylinders later on. Now this level right here is where we're going to get introduced to the concept of time warping, essentially. So what we gotta do is that we have to, I think, move this cylinder in place right here. You'll notice, however, that there's also an outline of a square. What we gotta do is that we have to actually go and, yeah, we have to basically go in here and cause the square, or I'm sorry, we have to cause the platform to disappear by rolling into this square. That way the cylinder can drop down and it can activate the platform that we can just roll across in order to, well, just get to the other side. That's some pretty simple stuff right there. Now, alternatively, as you can see, because this is actually one of the previous solutions that I used right here, you can alternatively summon another cube on a different timeline in order to help you out, but that's actually not required. So you don't need to do what I did right here before, because that's like the more complicated way of solving it, but it's actually not that complicated. Oh yeah, by the way, when it summons another cube, it actually changes the entire color palette of the game, so now everything's in green. Unfortunately, you can't just change the color palettes yourself. That's the only downside. You have to basically, yeah, you basically have to summon other cubes on alternate timelines if you want to change the game's color palette. I just wish you could do it manually, but unfortunately you can't. You can also press the R key in order to restart the level entirely. Q key you can hold down in order to quit the level. Pressing the Z key causes the game to rewind. Like, if you want to just rewind it manually, you can do that. And if you press the X key, it fast forwards time. The rewind and fast forward mechanics can be useful sometimes, especially in the later levels where you have to try and perform a lot of very specific movements that can sometimes result in you having to wait for the other cube for a little while if you did spawn another one in. But we are going to get introduced to this mechanic right now, actually. So what we essentially have to do is that we have to stay right here for a few seconds, and then we can just kind of roll away from that and we just drop down here. So now if we press either the enter key or spacebar, we will spawn a red cube, and the red cube will roll back into position, as you saw right there, and it'll actually activate the platform for us. And that's exactly how we get across in that level. So the green cube would not have been able to get across that platform himself. He needs the other cube to activate that platform for him. So that cube is acting on a different timeline, but it does still obey the laws of physics. And like I said, even though the second cube is acting on a different timeline, you can still manipulate its movement. And manipulating its movement will be necessary for some of the later stages. So, moving on to this stage over here, and I'm gonna try to see if I remember the solution. So, we have to move that cylinder over there, if I'm not mistaken, I think. And then I believe we have to spawn another cube in. Yeah, because this is going to activate this other platform right here. That's what that cylinder is for. And then the green cube is not really of any other use to us. When you do finally make it to the end of the stage, it will fast forward automatically, because what it does do, the way that this works is that it replays all of your movements, including up to the point where you decided to spawn the other cube in on the other timeline. but if you waited for a really long time, the cube will also wait. So if you just stood in place for about 10 seconds before spawning the other cube in, well, that cube is going to stay there for about another 10 seconds before it finally disappears. So again, use the fast forward option whenever you can, because it's really helpful in some situations. But for now, we are going to move on to this level right over here. So I'm going to try and remember what exactly I did here. I think I have to go in here. Yeah, and I think I just want to wait for a few seconds to try and give myself some time to move that cylinder over to the other side on the other timeline. I think we will be okay to go right about now, because I think that's the only thing that this purple cube is going to be useful for anyway. So I just want to roll very quickly. I want to move this over to the other side, because the position of that other cube's not going to matter anymore, because we just want the cylinder activated. There we go. Just like that. That's how we get through that particular level. Then this level over here. So I think what we actually want to do... Well, hang on a second. What I think we want to do is move this in place. Indeed, but the only problem is that that's going to deactivate the platform that we actually need to get across in order to get to the second platform. So then I think what we do is that we move the cylinder out of the way to reactivate those platforms, so that way we can get to the cube. You're gonna see how exactly this looks when we spawn the other cube in. So I need to wait for him. There we go. And then I'm gonna have to wait for the green cube to move the cylinder off of that that switch right there, so that the other platform can respawn and we can get to the exit. So just gotta wait for him. There we go. He moves the cylinder off. And keep in mind that the green cube's movements are actually my movements. They're just being repeated. They're being repeated by the game itself. So moving on to this level over here. So this one is actually pretty simple. So literally all you have to do right here, yeah, you can't really move anywhere else. Well, that's not a problem. Just spawn another cube and the cylinder actually resets to its previous position. And that's how you get out of that level. That's a pretty simple one, honestly. This one, on the other hand, is not quite as simple. But I think what you gotta do is that you have to roll into there, I believe. And then I think you want to roll back all the way over here and then spawn another cube, because you want to spawn behind him. Otherwise, you're both going to get stuck in between each other, because the blue cube's not going to have any space to move around. Yeah, so we just have him activate that platform so we can fall down. We can go all the way to the bottom portion of that level, and we just roll all the way to the finish. You're actually going to be seeing more puzzles like that in the later stages. But this puzzle right over here, this is a little bit more of an intricate one. So if I remember correctly, I think we need to stack these two cylinders on top of each other. And I think the way we do this is by... Oh god, not doing what I just did right there. Hang on. Wait for it. There we go. So stack them on top of each other like that. And I don't think we're gonna need to use the other cube for anything else. No, I think we'll be okay, actually. So I just want to move this into place, like this. There we go, and that's gonna activate the platform. And keep in mind that you can only do that once, by the way. You can only spawn another cube in on a different timeline only once, because if you try pressing enter or spacebar a second time after that, it won't work. So you can only spawn one cube in at a time. I'm not quite sure if there are any other situations in the later levels where you can actually spawn more cubes in, as in like you can have 3 or 4 cubes moving on screen at a single time. I'm not sure if that's possible in the later levels. I think what we gotta do here is that we have to try and move this, this cylinder all the way over here. But then I think what we want to do after that is actually roll all the way back over here, and then we're gonna spawn another cube in right around here, because I want to try and get onto here. Yeah, I want him to push me all the way over here so that I can get on top of this platform and just roll straight to the exit. Just like that. Again, single player co-op. Yeah, you'll also notice that there was another red cube that was kind of just moving around there as well, but we don't care about him because he's not important for anything. We can even spawn him in anyway, so don't worry about him for now. But yeah, you'll see how in some levels you basically have to help yourself through all of the levels. You have to help yourself across different timelines. Yeah, so you're the one who's actually pushing yourself across the cylinder. Like, you're riding on top of the cylinder, but the cube that's pushing you across is also yourself, so it's 2 different copies of you. Time travel, man. Time travel is a weird concept. A very weird, nuanced concept that just does not make any sense whatsoever. So this is one of the bonus levels of Induction right here, which I have managed to figure out before, but the bonus levels are generally a lot more complicated than the main levels. But I have figured this out before, so I'm gonna see if I remember how exactly I did this. I think we want to do this, if I'm not mistaken. Well, actually, hang on. What exactly do we want to do? I think... Well, what exactly did I do here with rolling this across? Yeah, because I think you come over here. You need to come over here. Yes, indeed. But that's only part of the solution, because that way we can get the cylinder down. See, but the problem here is that you'll notice that we can't actually push the cylinder around, because again, this is kind of like a Sokoban puzzler. Because this cylinder is up against the wall, we can't actually push it any further down, because we need to push it into that outline to make the platform appear. So we didn't do this correctly. So I think what we want to do is that we want to actually, yeah, do something along the lines of this, and then probably go down like this, just to like wait for it, and then I think we can move it along, possibly, I think, if I'm remembering this correctly. Yeah, just bring this along right here, okay? Because I need you to move. Okay, like that. And then I need to do it again, though. Yeah, there we go, just like that, actually. Good. And I think you are gonna go back into place, because I think you just roll back up there, don't you? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it actually needs to go there if we want to beat the level, because I think there are some situations you can get yourself into where if the other cube you spawn doesn't get back to its final destination, as it were, then you can actually get stuck and you won't be able to beat the level. It needs to go back to, yeah, it needs to go back to that position right there. It needs to try and find a way to make it back to its final position on its own timeline if you want to actually beat the level. Otherwise, you're gonna cause a paradox and you're not gonna be able to finish the level as a result. But that was pretty okay though. That one was pretty okay. And then we have the second bonus level right over here. This one just requires proper timing. So we're gonna drop this cylinder all the way down over here. This is gonna require some good timing, because now we have to, actually no, that's not what we have to do. We can't sit on the platforms like that. What we gotta do is do this and then start falling. Yeah, but this is more of a level that requires timing. So we have to try and find the best way to fall. Yeah, right about now, actually. That was pretty good. That was pretty good right there. So yeah, that's a level that's just all about timing. You have to find the perfect time to actually fall off the ledge right there. So those are the first two bonus levels completed. Now we're already going on to the third area right here, actually. Indeed, we are already in the third area of the game. I believe there's 6 areas in total. This game is not very long from what I know about it. There's only about 50 levels in total, and I think we've already beaten like 10 of them. So I've already shown off about 1/5 of the entire game, but the levels do get a lot more difficult later on though. So I think what we gotta do is actually bring that cylinder over there, because we're gonna have to do something a little bit later on that you're gonna see in just a moment, because it's a little bit difficult to explain. I mean, this whole game is kind of difficult to explain, honestly, but we go over here, and then, yeah, this other platform we are gonna need. Now, take notice of how the platforms are disappearing when I roll over them. So I think what we're gonna do now is that we want to go to this ledge and spawn the other cube in. So the reason why I took it over here is because I want to fall onto it. And then, as you can see, the platforms are actually going to reset. So this is how we're going to want to, or how we're going to have to get over to those other platforms over there. So we can actually get off right now if we want, because all we have to do now is just go over this way and wait for this purple cube over here to activate the second platform. And that should be it. Indeed, that is it, actually. There you go. Single-player co-op, as I said, although it doesn't get as insane as Cursor 10, because as far as I'm aware, you can only have up to 2 cubes at a time on the screen, and not like 10, like you could in Cursor 10. This other level right here is going to require quite a bit of waiting as well, so again, this is going to require some intricate movements. So I think I want to stand right around here and just wait for a little while. Alright, I think that's actually enough waiting, and then we just move the cube over to here, because we want to bring that cylinder down from over there, but we are going to need a second cube in order to spawn it, because as you can see, we have some more platforms that are just going to disappear. So we want to run over those, or we want to roll, more appropriately, over those platforms. And the cube that's waiting over there, push it down like this, there we go, it's all in place, so now it should hopefully move that cylinder into place, there we go, spawns the platform, and we can get out of here. Very good indeed. Yeah, we needed to use that second cube, because we wouldn't have been able to get back, because my initial thought when I first played this level was that, oh, you just have to bring the cylinder down there yourself, and then just move it into place and you can finish the level. But what complicates things is the fact that those platforms right down there, they disappear when you roll over them, so you have no way of actually getting back. So that's what the second cube is useful for. Moving on to this level right over here. So I believe what we would like to do is, I think, yeah, do something along the lines of that, and then just, like, roll back over here. And then I think what we could do is, yeah, we could, well, actually, no. What we're gonna have to do first, actually, is, find a way, yeah, to disable this. Okay, wait, I think I know what I'm doing wrong. So I think I wanna roll over here like this, and then fall down, go all the way back over here, and then I think I want to have the cube just wait a little while. I think that is enough waiting for now. And then fall over here and activate this, and then activate another cube so that it falls down over there. Yeah, see, this is how you can manipulate its movement, though. Because now you'll notice, yeah, that it falls down, but it's still repeating the movements on the, that was basically programmed for it on the top of the platform. I'm sorry, I'm trying really hard to explain this in the most coherent way that I possibly can, but with these kinds of games, it's very difficult to do so. But that level right there was an example of how we can manipulate cubes that are working along different timelines. Because you'll notice that we can drop it down from its original position, but it'll still repeat the movements as if it was still on the top platform. And we use that to our advantage so that we can make it activate that cube-shaped switch over there so we can activate the platform so we can get across. So, moving on to this level over here. Now, this level actually gave me a lot of trouble when I first played it, but I did manage to figure out the solution ever since. This was actually the level that was pretty much preventing me from actually, like, being able to do a video on this game a long time ago, because I just could not for the life of me figure out how to solve this dang puzzle. But I think what we want to do is that we want to activate that cylinder down over there, because you'll notice that there's another cylindrical shaped switch on the side. So I think we go to this cube switch right over here to activate this platform. Then I think we can just get off of it, and then we spawn another cube in. As you can see, this cylinder will actually come back to us. Then we move this over to the left side instead. And then I think what we want to do is that we want to fall down over here, since this platform is now activated. And, yeah, as you can see, there is no bridge set up for the green cube, so what it's going to do is that it's just going to wait for me until I activate it. So, I am going to activate it right about now. Hopefully I can get across this thing quickly. Okay, yeah, there we go. It's going to remain activated anyway. Yeah, and then it activates the other side of the bridge, and then we can just run across it. And that's it. Yeah, so in that instance, you have to spawn the other cube, which will also reset the cylinder. It resets the cylinder to its original spawn point. So you move it to the right in order to activate the bridge on the top floor, and then you reset the cylinder to its original position, and then move it to the left so that it activates that bridge that I'm rolling across right there, and then bring the cylinder on that platform that's normally inaccessible to have the green cube, which again, remember, is technically me, you know, make that bridge accessible for the green cube so that it can roll over to that switch and activate the other bridge on the side so that I can then roll across it and get to the end. It feels so strange and so freaking difficult to try and describe this, because keep in mind that both of these cubes are being controlled by me. They're being controlled independently by me. Again, basically Cursor 10. Just as weird as Cursor 10 at the very least. Now, this freaking level right here. Now, there's a lot of very specific movements you have to make when it comes to this level in particular. So, I think what you want to do first is that you want to get on top of the cube. Sorry, you want to get on top of the cylinder, I mean. The cube has to get on top of the cylinder, and then I think you just wait a little while, then you go back up, you take about 2 steps to the left, and then 3 steps downwards, because what I'm doing is that I'm basically setting this up so that the cube on the other timeline can be manipulated into going on top of that platform with that cylinder up there, and moving it into place, which will activate a platform on the lower floor. And, oh god, I don't remember what I want to do after this, actually. Because I think I would like to bring the cylinder back once I get it over to that other platform, actually. So, if I am remembering this correctly, I can just let the other cube wait for a little while. And then I can have him move the cube again, or like move the cylinder himself, because I think this will actually reset the cylinder's location, if I'm not mistaken, and then I can get up to the top of the platform, and then I can get to the cube. If you're wondering why I can't just do that normally, whenever you have 2 cubes on the screen all at once, this is what happens to the white cube. Yeah, it turns into a bunch of dots, and yeah, you don't want it to look like that, because you won't be able to finish the level by doing that. Of course, you have to get this this other cube back to its original position. Okay, I think, and again, if I do mess this up, I can just rewind time to try and you know, like retrace my steps. Yeah, see, that's what we want to do, because that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. Actually, wait. I'm remembering what I'm doing wrong here. You have to come with me. This cylinder has to come with me. I think I put it in the correct place. I'm hoping I did. So then what I can do is that I can just wait on top of this cylinder right here. I'm gonna fast forward this just so that Mr. Cube Guy can like move along here. As you can see, he's not like moving anywhere right now. Well actually, he's... Oh, wait a second. No, I did something wrong, because he's moving the other way. Okay, I don't want him to move the other way, though. But I do have at least, like, the basic idea of this, at the very least. Or do I want to actually get back on the cylinder again, so that maybe he can drop down onto the cylinder and I can actually move him back over here, and then he can just repeat the same movements, right? Going like this, and then just moving the cylinder over here so that I can get across. Yeah, you know what? Let's try that out, because that may actually be the real way that I wanna solve this. So I want to move you right here, if I'm not mistaken, because I know that this is like part of the solution right here. But then I have to actually wait for you, because I don't remember what exactly I made you do again. Where exactly are you gonna fall? Okay, I figured out where exactly he's gonna fall. He's gonna fall right here, I think. Okay, so bring you back over here then, right? Yeah, so you're gonna go right there. And then I need to get over there as fast as I possibly can, because I need you to get in front of that cylinder and move me over there. Yeah, like this. Just like this. I think this is how it worked. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, and you're in place, so you'll be okay then. You went back to your final position. There we go. That's how you do that. Yeah, but as you can see, you have to basically set it up in a way so that this can actually work at all. Like, you have to perform some really, like, weird movements at the very beginning, some oddly specific movements that might not make sense at first, but if you just look at the other platform with the cylinder on it, then you kind of get an idea as to what exactly you're supposed to do. I mean, you have a cylinder. You can get on top of the cylinder, like you can roll on top of it. You can probably have your clone move you across so that you can get up to the other side and then just help him back over again. Yeah, or like move your clone across to the other side so he can get up, activate that switch, and then bring him back, and then have him return the favor. So yeah, you will see more of this complexity in the later levels, and actually, I do believe we have another bonus level right over here, the third one. So I think I recall how this one went. So I wanna, yeah, like roll to the side a little bit and then go back out here and then move this along. And then I think I just want to activate this, because I'm gonna have to activate it. Yeah, well, hang on. Like, you're gonna, the orange guy on top. Okay, well, actually, no, he can't move around just yet. So I'm trying to figure out how many tiles that is. So that is 5. Okay, and that's gonna be the first tile, so take 4 steps forward at the very least, and then move out of the way, and then, yeah, bring the cylinder over here. And then I think we probably will be okay after that if I just, like roll around it, perhaps? Let's just see how this works. Yeah, we're just gonna see. Okay, keep moving. Keep on moving. Oh god, okay. I'm still not making him go far enough. I guess I have to take one further step, and then, yeah, move around, like this, and then just move it back over this way. Yeah, because I want to make it fall onto this platform. That's why. So hang on a second. We're gonna see how this works. Hopefully, as long as it gets to the other side. Okay, move out of the way of the cylinder, please. Okay, there we go. Thank you. You're gonna bring it down. I'm gonna... Okay, yeah, you're gonna get on top of it. That's fine. I just have to move it in place right there, and then we can get out of here. There we go. That's not too difficult of a bonus stage right there. This one, on the other hand, I've actually not solved before, but I will show you guys how exactly it works. So there is this ledge that you can climb on top of. So the first idea you might get is that you have to go on top of the cube. Now that seems fine and all, but then look what's gonna happen once we try doing this with purple. Yeah, we're gonna move him out of position though from his like original spawning point. But here's the thing though. We can go to the end of the level, but you'll notice that we've created a paradox because he's not back at his original point, like his original spawning point. So unfortunately, we cannot actually beat the level because we moved purple off of his original timeline. So we end up getting stuck, so we have no choice but to reset there. So I'm not actually sure how exactly you're supposed to beat this level. I mean, you could probably do something along the lines of that, but you have to be on top of the cylinder, though. Well, actually, purple guy can't push us, can we? Oh, well, hang on a second. No, he can. He actually can. Okay. Well, I'm the one who's solving it. Oh, wait. I think you need to get back on top of it, and then I have to push you back in, right? Hang on a second. I might have actually just figured this out. What if I move this off, and then, yeah, just push this over here, right? And then, yeah, get on top of it, and then just, well, actually no, because then you're gonna do the same thing. Well, I can't normally just climb up the cylinder because it's just gonna move it. What I was thinking is maybe moving it in place first, and then I was thinking maybe going back over here and just waiting, like just pushing the cylinder back over here and then just dropping on top of it, and then just having it move me over there. But that's not gonna work though, because it's still gonna create a paradox because I'm gonna be moved out of the timeline. Well, whatever. Let's just try it here and see what happens. Here, let me try this. Let me try getting on top of here. Move me in place, purple. Thank you very much. Okay, well, hang on a second. I need to move this cylinder out of the... Oh god. Hang on. I'm messing this up. Oh, wait. Like this. Like that. Wait. Okay, yeah. Here we go. Put it right there. But then I don't know where else you're gonna go. Okay, you're gonna go right there. Yeah, but see? I have to try and get you back over there somehow. Yeah, I don't understand this one. Oh, wait a second. You're actually still moving. Oh, wait a second. You're still moving, so you could potentially get off of it. Oh, okay. Hang on a second. I think I know what I'm doing wrong here. I'm slowly piecing this together, slowly but surely. And then what if I try going back over here like this? But is that going to be far enough? I have no idea, but let's try it. Here, so you get on top of this, right? Okay, well, hang on a second. I don't think this is going to work either, because then you'd have to try and find a way to go all the way back over there. No, it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be anywhere near enough. Okay, well, in the interest of time, I'm not going to try and waste too much time trying to solve that level, but that's one of the bonus levels that I haven't been able to figure out yet. I wanted to show that off, though, because it does provide you an example of what happens if you end up moving a cube off of its original timeline, and it doesn't manage to get back to its original, or its final, like, resting place on its timeline. Yeah, that'll happen. You end up getting stuck, and you have no choice but to reset the level, pretty much. So if you are in a puzzle where you need to manipulate the movement of the alternate timeline cubes, just remember that you need to get them back to their original, like, resting locations first. Otherwise, you won't be able to finish the level because the white cube that you need to collect is never gonna respawn, or it's never gonna shift back to its original shape. Not all of these levels are as simple as they seem. But moving on to this level over here, we actually get introduced to another new mechanic. So you'll notice that there's a little dash of some kind over on that other platform that we cannot currently get to. So what we gotta do is that we go over here, we have more platforms that disappear. How do we get back? Well, that's simple. We just respawn the platforms. Yeah, but then as you can see, we're gonna be able to spawn that bridge, and hopefully green guy gets out of the way here. There we go, thank you very much. And then we have an upgrade that allows us to take control of another cube. So if we would like to go and start controlling the green cube all of a sudden, we can actually do that, but I think what we would like to try and do instead is maybe do this? Oh wait, actually, hang on a second. No, I don't think we want to do that just yet. Yeah, the bridge is out, but just hang on a moment. I think I actually want to bring purple guy all the way to the end, because I think this will be important for beating the level. And then we shift over to green. Lean, mean, and green. Oh no. We're not going to be able to shift over to lean, mean, and green because the platforms are still technically gone. Okay, well, hang on a second. Okay, there is a super specific way that you have to solve this puzzle, and I'm going to try and figure it out here. But I think, yeah, we want to put this over here. But we may have to, okay, I think we want to get him over there first, actually. Or do we have to bring him over there? Well, no. We're not gonna be able to, because this is just gonna result in me transforming into green guy, and then he's gonna have no place to go after that. Oh, wait a second, actually, no. He will have some place to go, because I forgot. Once you take control of another cube on a different timeline, it'll actually allow you to create another cube, because there's only one on the screen here. So, effectively what this does is that it kind of like resets the timeline that you just spawned, or whatever. So hang on a second, I want to go over here. Actually, wait, did I already solve this? Okay, no, I didn't already solve it, because hang on a second. Red guy has to go up there. Right. Because I think I want to spawn another cube in so I can activate this bridge. Yeah, and Red Boy is actually gonna go and take the other cube, but I think... I don't know, is this good? Can I have him complete the level instead? Unless he just, like, transforms into me. Okay, no. So, he did actually get back to his original place on his timeline, which means the cube has gone back to normal, which means I think I can just go and collect it now. Yeah, there we go, just like that. Yeah, so that's basically a new upgrade that allows us to take control of a cube on a different timeline, assuming said cube is present in the level. Yeah, so we have to go down over there, and we have to bring that cylinder down over there so that red guy can actually go back into the exit, so that he can just roll all the way to the exit, and then we can go over there because that's gonna respawn the cube. We can just roll over there ourselves, so we can take control of the green boy. Yeah, that's a very difficult one to really describe. And then there's also this other level over here that I actually have not yet solved, but I don't think I'm going to. I mean, the only reason I wanted to show off this level in particular was that I wanted to show you guys that it will introduce different power-ups to you as the levels progress. There's also this other mechanic that I would like to show you guys in this level right over here. So, this cylinder right over here will change color when you touch it. So what you can effectively do is that this cylinder will essentially be added to the blue cube's timeline. So when I end up spawning another cube, you'll notice that it actually spawns a second cylinder. So, using this to our advantage, we can have the orange guy go over here, activate this switch so we can go over to... Yeah, we can activate that bridge so we can get the second cylinder over to that other spawning point, or that other switch, I mean. Yeah, we activate that switch to spawn this bridge, which leads to the white cube. And that's it for that level. Yeah, so basically what happened here is that this cylinder exists on Blue Cube's timeline. So what'll happen is that it'll still reset the cylinder, like it basically creates a new cylinder in place of the old one. So now there's two cylinders on the field. But again, the only way this will work is if the cube is touching the cylinder, because again, you'll notice that it changes color. Well, if it's the same color as the cube that's touching it, then you can effectively create a second copy of the cylinder, and the cylinder doesn't just reset back to its default spawn point. It'll actually create a second copy, which you can then use to activate that bridge, and then use that other cylinder that you had before to activate the second cylinder switch, which will spawn the bridge that leads to the exit. Again, if that makes any sense, because this game is so frigging hard to describe with words, man. Like, you can tell that I'm just struggling to even comprehend what the hell's going on here, because this game is so freaking weird. I just don't know how else to explain it, and I am sorry if I'm kind of failing at explaining this thoroughly, guys, but these kinds of games are very difficult to explain even when you are showing actual gameplay footage. It's almost impossible. You know, unless you have a very deep understanding of how time travel and time paradoxes work, then it's gonna be really difficult trying to explain how exactly anything in this game works. But I guess that's also a testament as to how well crafted the game is as well, because this is definitely a lot more, you know, it has much deeper gameplay than a lot of the puzzle games that I've played within the past 3 years or so, like on my channel, I mean. A lot of these puzzles really require your absolute attention, and it's not only that, but it's also like planning forward. A lot of the puzzles in this game really require you to plan ahead. Like, especially on this puzzle back over here, like this one right here, where you basically have to look at the other platform that has the cylinder on top of it and think, okay, how exactly am I gonna get... I already know that I'm gonna have to get at least one of the cubes that I spawn on top of that platform and move the cylinder in place to spawn that bridge in the corner over there. And then I know that I'm gonna have to bring the cube back down, the one that I spawn, have it land back on the cylinder, bring the cylinder all the way back to its default spawn point, and then have my clone move me all the way back to that platform so that I can get on top of it and finish the level. And for this level in particular, actually managing to accomplish that requires you to make seemingly all sorts of nonsensical movements at the very beginning of said level. Like, they may seem totally nonsensical at first, but then you start to realize very quickly that they actually make perfect sense in the context of the level layout. Considering that all the clone cubes essentially copy your every movement, you can manipulate their movement and make seemingly impossible tasks relatively easy for you. Those cylinders are a lot more useful than you may be led to believe at first. It's pretty much a matter of knowing what exactly your clone is going to do when you finally push it towards the location that you want it to go to. So you have to actually map that out ahead of time in your head, basically. You have to create like a mental image of what you think is going to happen beforehand. And I love puzzle games like this because it really requires a lot of forward thinking on the player's part. You really need to try and size up the situation first before you start pulling off any sort of weird movements. When you learn how exactly all the new mechanics it throws at you works, like for instance these cylinders that change color, so basically they get added to that cube's timeline. So for instance, green cylinder is added to green cube's timeline, purple cylinder is added to purple cube's timeline, as you're seeing right here. This game definitely requires a lot more lateral thinking than the majority of the puzzle games that I've covered on the channel in the past few years. And I really do think it's quite a shame that this puzzle game ended up being overlooked when it first came out back in 2017, because I saw almost no one talking about this game back then. And I don't really see that many people talking about the game now. It really does seem like this game went largely unnoticed when it first came out, and that's honestly disappointing, because this is probably one of the best puzzle games that I've played in a long while. You know, this sort of forward planning that's required on the player's part is one of the reasons why I love puzzle games like this so much. And also the fact that there's no tutorials as well, because it teaches you all of the key bindings in the first few levels. Like, it keeps things simple. It tells you that you can use the arrow keys or the WASD keys to move around. You can press either enter or space to spawn a second cube in, use the Z and X keys to rewind and fast forward time respectively, and if you think you messed up, press the R key to reset the level entirely, or you can press the Q key to just exit the level altogether. I find it really surprising just how complex this game actually is, because it seems so simple on the surface. Because when you think about it, this game doesn't actually use that many mechanics. There was that one mechanic it introduced to us in one of the previous levels we just played, where it gives you the ability to switch between cubes. Like, you can start controlling a cube on a different timeline, and doing so will actually grant you the ability to spawn another cube in, although you can still only have two on the screen at once. And then of course this level right here, where it introduces you to the concept of being able to spawn more than one cylinder, like being able to spawn an additional cylinder in the level despite there only being one cylinder to use. You know, adding that cylinder to a particular cube's timeline so that when you spawn a different cube in, the cylinder will reset, but it actually creates another copy of the cylinder, so now there's two. And using that to your advantage in order to activate these two bridges right here. But other than that, this game really does not throw that many mechanics at you. And by the way, this level right here is actually basically one of the levels that we played already in the third area, except this time there's only one cylinder, and it is one of the cylinders that changes color when you touch it. I haven't played this level off screen, and I don't plan on playing it either because, if you guys couldn't already tell, I am actually trying to end the video right now. If it does seem like I am presenting my final thoughts or my final verdict on the game, well, that is exactly what I'm doing because I think I am actually going to leave this video here because I wasn't really planning on showing anything else off in this game. I wanted to do another one of those videos where I wanted to try and keep it a little bit on the short side. Again, just to make up for all of the really long videos that I've been putting out as of late, but hopefully you guys got a good idea as to how exactly this gameplay is. I am deeply disappointed by the fact that this game did not receive that much attention when it first came out, because this is by far one of the best puzzle games I've played. Again, I know I'm being kinda quick on the draw here, considering I haven't actually beaten the entire game yet. I've only beaten like maybe half the levels, but I already knew based on the game's concept alone that this game was going to try and mess me up in a lot of different ways, or mess my brain up. And holy crap, dude, it absolutely does. Basically, if you want me to hold your puzzle game in high regard, make it all about time travel, basically. Add some sort of mechanic that allows you to create clones of yourself, and you have to use all of those clones in order to solve the levels. You basically have to play co-op with yourself. Same reason why I love Cursor 10 so much. If you're at all into puzzle games at all, you owe it to yourself to try this game out. It's only $10 on Steam. Please go and support Brian Gale and his absolutely fantastic puzzle game, because he deserves a lot more success than he's actually received so far from this game. So the Steam link will be provided below, but keep in mind that I think the game is only available on PC right now. I'm not sure if there is an iOS or Android version of the game. I will go and check again just to make 100% sure, but I don't believe there exists a mobile port of the game. Not yet anyway. But yeah, I'm finally glad I was able to do a video on this, and again, it was just that one level in particular that was holding me back from doing a video on this game, but finally solved it, and I feel good about myself at least. I don't feel good about the fact that it took me like 10 months to solve it, despite the fact that the actual solution was fairly simple. Yeah, because the last time I played this game was back in March of last year, so that one particular puzzle has been haunting me since. I think it's because I just ended up losing interest in the game after that. But this video does indeed exist now, so I'm at least happy about that. In all fairness, it should have been brought into existence like 10 months ago. If only I had a bigger brain. And also, again, if I didn't have the attention span of a freaking mosquito. Anyway, if you want to purchase the game, links in the description. Thanks as always for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video I make. Later!